Flashback 4.10, Making Sacrifices. I sat there with Katie and Bob to my left and some councilwoman named Kara to my right, and a dozen or more cultists behind surrounding us, and Bracco center stage at a sacrificial altar. 2 cultists descended upon the councilwoman that had been shackled on the pew to my right. Presumably she was an Athlone councilwoman, again apparently named Kara. One of the cultists leaned down and unlocked the manacles from the chains, but the manacles remained on the woman. The 2 robed figures, I presumed men based on their large bouncer-like sizes, lifted her and dragged somewhat her to the altar. Her laments and screams were muffled behind her tight, gagged mouth. Her struggles were in vain. The 2 men were big. They were strong. She was laid down on the altar, and a blood-stained leather strap tied around her neck, her waist, her legs, and her arms. A cultist walked to Bracco carrying a large, bejeweled, golden, metallic jewelry box. He leaned down in front of Bracco, raising the chest up to him. Bracco removed his cowl and opened the box. A red-hued light cast itself up from the box all over Bracco's face and across the room. Nestled atop a purple cushion was a golden wreath-like crown shaped like a pentastar, adorned with what appeared to be blood-red rose thorns and rusted barbed wire. There were faint red and green glowing runes emanating like colored sparks, as if from fireworks sparklers. Reaching into the box, Bracco lifted the blood rose pentastar crown of Baal high up into the air, and he said, "With the crown of Baal, we shall drain and transfer the soul of this woman into a strip of Baal. We shall grant the strip of Baal to High Priest Nicodemus of the Church of Midnight. He will use the seal of midnight to merge the strip with the tapestry of Baal. Embrace our Lord Baal. Believe in the Church of Midnight. Believe in Baal." With that, Bracco lowered the crown of Baal and placed it on the councilwoman Kara's head. Another cultist brought a massive leather-bound tome to him. Bracco set the book down on a stone podium near the sacrificial altar. He opened it and began reading aloud what sounded like Latin or Hebrew. There were very scary words that echoed throughout the cavern. The cavern walls began to rumble like a low-grade, long earthquake. The crown's red and green faint-hued sparkling lights burst into full-on fireworks sparklers, sparking all over, insanely. The woman screamed through her gag, in obvious extreme agony and torment. The color in her forehead began to turn gray, and the grayness spread downward from her forehead over her face into her arms. I can only assume onward down to her feet. In a matter of minutes, the woman was completely gray, as if she had no blood or life, anything left inside her. She was literally a lifeless corpse, with no apparent injury or damage. The gray cloth suspended across the candelabra at the head of the altar began to spark, just like the crown had sparked and sparkled fireworks atop the woman's head. The sparks ceased, and then written across the cloth were red and green glowing runes. Bracco intoned, "And so, Baal has captured the soul and life force of the woman. Her essence will be added to the tapestry of Baal. Remove her remnants and prepare the next sacrifice." Bob was shaking and yelling through his gag, but all he managed to do was bruise himself and cut his hands on the manacles and express himself through muffled screams. Katie was visibly trembling in fear, but had stopped moving or making any sounds. She seemed resigned to her fate, just trembling. I imagine she must then be praying to God for salvation. There was a huge bang behind us, an explosion of some sort. I tried to look back and I could see the entryway door had exploded wide open. Bullets were flying, cultists were falling, dropping all around us. Blood and dead cultists littered the pews. Bracco grabbed the crown, the tome, and that strip of cloth, and he still had my dagger, and he fled beyond the altar into a dark passage away. Cultists were running towards the same passage, trailing behind Bracco, but one by one, the cultists fell from the storm of bullets. There was maybe 2 seconds between a set of bullet bursts. It made me think there was one, at most 2 shooters, and they were reloading magazines in between. Soon there were no cultists at all in the room. The only people left were Katie, Bob, me, and the dead councilwoman. The Deputy Taylor walked up and she smiled in my face. Miss me? Once again, the deputy had come to our rescue. My gosh. We did not miss the deputy. We needed Deputy Taylor. Literally, our lives had depended on her. Now more than once. Deputy Taylor was decked out for combat. She was holding an AR-15 assault rifle. She was wearing an Israeli bulletproof vest and a Kevlar helmet and apparently Kevlar arm and leg armor. She had her signature zombie knife visibly hanging from her combat gear belt. She even had what looked like 2 different kinds of hand grenades on the belt. Thank the heavens for our Deputy Taylor.